Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Kane. Today we step away from the dangers and disasters to explore a different facet of our mission. Join me as we count down the top 7 SCPs with incredible potential to save the world. Item number: SCP-343. SCP-343 appears as an elderly man who claims to be God. His abilities seem limitless, and he has demonstrated the capability to perform miracles. If SCP-343's cooperation could be ensured, his powers might avert global disasters or solve insurmountable problems. SCP-343 resides in a 6-meter by 6-meter room at Minimal Security Site 17. It should receive any items it requests and be visited by at least one staff member daily. Attempts to add further safety precautions or required clearances are unnecessary and impossible due to the nature of SCP-343. SCP-343 is a male, seemingly raceless, humanoid in appearance with apparent omnipotence. SCP-343 was discovered walking the streets of Prague and detained after a staff member witnessed him disappear from the streets and reappear on a rooftop. SCP-343 is detained willingly in his chamber, as containment has proved impossible. The following is an addendum written by Dr. Beck. SCP-343, colloquially nicknamed God by the staff here, looks like an older man, although his features are different for each observer. In my first talk with him, he claimed outright to be the creator of the universe. When I asked him to prove this, he laughed, walked through the wall of the chamber, and returned seconds later with a hamburger in his hand. When I returned for a second visit, the previously bare cell had been furnished and seemed many times larger than it did from the exterior. SCP-343 greatly enjoys speaking with people and seems to know about all topics. Visiting with SCP-343 has become a daily event for many of the staff here, and all employees report feeling generally happier after each visit. Attempts to bar staff below Level 3 clearance have proven unsuccessful, as guards assigned to watch the room quit their posts, saying, "You know he likes company," or shrugging when questioned. Since SCP-343 has thus far been harmless, all staff have been allowed access, and somehow they all have time to meet with him for as long as they need. For now, I leave this report open as further questioning of SCP-343 is ongoing. Item number: SCP-2000. SCP-2000 is a subterranean facility capable of reconstructing human civilization in the event of a catastrophic event. Equipped with advanced cloning and memory implantation technologies, it ensures humanity's continuity even after an apocalyptic event. The entrance to SCP-2000 is disguised as a disused park ranger station in Yellowstone National Park. Despite several civilian trespassing attempts, the entrance has yet to be breached in the installation's recorded history, and no further physical containment has been deemed necessary. Protocol Plain Sight 201 is in effect for SCP-2000. Necessary supplies and replacement personnel may be delivered via unmarked road vehicles or civilian helicopters as appropriate. No personnel below Level 4 clearance are permitted access to documentation regarding SCP-2000 or any protocols associated with its containment and upkeep. No personnel below Level 5 clearance are permitted access to SCP-2000 below Sub-Level 3. All personnel assigned to SCP-2000 must submit to a neural archetype scan every month. Personnel stationed on-site must submit to weekly scans to be stored locally. Level 4 personnel, or above, stationed on site, are not permitted to leave Yellowstone National Park during their assignment. In the event of transfer, either elective or compulsory, Class A amnestics must be administered and false memories implanted, consistent with assignment to other high-security or Keter-class SCP objects. Additional personnel may be assigned to SCP-2000 and granted temporary Level 4 clearance at the discretion of the item's HMCL supervisor, currently Dr. Charles Gears, and O5 Command. The exterior surface of SCP-2000 is surrounded by Scranton reality anchors, also known as SRAs, every 20 meters, arranged hexagonally, to prevent incursion by hostile anomalous interference. Each SRA's function must be checked semi-annually and replaced as necessary. Technicians servicing SRA components may reference document SRA 033, revision 1.0.7. 5 constant temporal sinks capable of maintaining stable tachyon flux across the expanse of the facility. Maximum output rating at 100 watts each have been installed and are to be maintained monthly. Technicians servicing X-Acts components may refer to document X-Acts 864, revision 1.3.0. One pseudo-Riemannian manifold has been initiated at the entrance to sub-level 4 and must remain open at all times. In the event of the manifold's failure, procedure Dead Euclid 101 is to be executed immediately. Other non-anomalous life support and utility systems may be maintained in accordance with the standard Foundation Maintenance Protocol, Section 101.5, Mission Critical Components. Wherever possible, non-anomalous materials and resources are to be used for SCP-2000's maintenance and repair. In the event of any K-class scenario that does not compromise the existence or function of SCP-2000, procedure CYA-009 is to be enacted as soon as possible. The remaining Foundation installations globally are to monitor the scenario as it unfolds, preserving what material resources are possible under the Ganymede Protocol until such time as all remaining sites respond all clear to SCP-2000 queries as defined in Document 2000 XKAC 1.9. Upon receipt of the All Clear Code, Procedure Lazarus 01 is to be implemented. Although the scope of engineering required to recreate SCP-2000 in its entirety is impossible to execute while maintaining secrecy, all subsystems of SCP-2000 have been successfully reproduced in laboratory settings. The installation and all procedures involved in its upkeep are mundane in nature. Primary power for the facility is a liquid fluoride thorium reactor, LFTR, rated for 1 gigawatt total output, with a reactor life of 70 years at maximum capacity. A geothermal generator has also been installed to take advantage of the region's volcanic activity. This generator is capable of powering the facility in standby mode indefinitely. SCP-2000 also contains water treatment facilities, air purification and recycling systems, hydroponic production wings, and housing necessary to permanently sustain up to 10,000 personnel. To fulfill its primary mission, SCP-2000 includes 500,000 bright Zartian hominid replicators, BZHR. At peak capacity, SCP-2000 is capable of producing 100,000 viable, non-anomalous humans per day, with a warm-up period of 5 days. Utilizing an underground Riemannian transit pipe to collect raw material from various hot springs and underground magma flows in the area, and a computer memory bank housing data on all known human alleles, this system is capable of recreating any lost human genome or generating as many new and unique genomes as necessary to repopulate human civilization. Humans produced by this process can be advanced to any age desired without extending the 5-day incubation period. In addition to construction features, the BZHR also can implant memories by administration of Class G hallucinogenics and developmental hypnotherapy. Life histories, neural archetype scans, and genomes of many Foundation personnel, including all personnel of Level 4 clearance and above, are maintained to ensure that SCP-2000 may be activated, and Procedure Lazarus 01 can be initiated by as few as 1 surviving human. After the implementation of the Ganymede Protocol, indicating a failure of the Foundation to prevent a K-class scenario, SCP-2000 security systems will unlock, allowing any Foundation employee to initiate Procedure CYA-009. If, after 20 years, SCP-2000 remains inactive, security will be relaxed further, allowing any non-anomalous human being to access the facility and initiate the procedure. Once activated, SCP-2000's internal monitoring systems will attempt to locate all personnel of Level 4 clearance and assess their condition. Mission-critical personnel not found will be replicated using the most recent neural archetype scan on file and awakened before the initialization of any other systems. It is estimated that the world population, manufacturing capability, agricultural production and culture can be reset to 2000 CE levels 25 to 50 years after the procedure is implemented. After Procedure Lazarus-01, amnestic agent NUE-5 will be released en masse, causing all reconstructed humans to forget their affiliation with Foundation assets. History will then resume from the chosen date. Each procedure will necessarily alter the course of human events due to the enormous complexity of human social interaction. Further research into predictive historical modeling based on observations from prior completions of the procedure Lazarus-01 is ongoing. Item number SCP-006. SCP-006 is a small spring that produces a liquid with incredible regenerative properties. Drinking this liquid grants the subject enhanced strength, health, and even minor longevity. It could be used to cure injuries and diseases on a global scale. Whereas the nature of the liquid does not warrant any extensive containment, a certain level of secrecy is necessary regarding the object's existence and properties, for obvious reasons. The following procedures are required not for personnel's safety, but to deny or hide knowledge of the liquid's effects from the personnel who interact with it. All personnel interacting with the liquid in any physical way are required to wear modified Class 6 BNC suits. Before personnel are allowed to perform procedures, they must be briefed with false information. The liquid's true effect is restricted to only those with O5 clearance. To ensure personnel are wearing suits properly, they are to be submerged in a pool of water. Any air bubbles spotted signify a leak in the suit. Procedures with the liquid are to be carried out under extreme surveillance. In case of contact with the liquid, the commander in charge will announce Procedure 612, which the personnel has been briefed to believe means high toxicity is present and they must evacuate. Any procedure in which liquid is acquired from the spring must be approved by 3 O5 level personnel, and the liquid is to be transferred in a quad-sealant container and under armed guard. If at any time personnel come into contact with the spring or liquid from the spring, they are to be confined and terminated after sufficient studies are done. Due to the nature of the liquid, the most effective termination method is incineration. Ingesting the liquid produces the following properties in human beings: the ability to regenerate DNA damaged by sufficient duplication, heightened excitement of cellular duplication, vastly improved abilities in the repair of damaged tissue, and a frightening increase in the effectiveness of the human immune system. Upon testing the liquid on animal subjects, hostile bacteria and viral agents were destroyed immediately. Many reptiles and birds were unaffected, while higher primates experienced the same benefits as humans. Item number SCP-021. SCP-021 is a large, tattoo-like entity that grants the host enhanced physical abilities and rapid healing. If its symbiotic relationship could be controlled and replicated, it could create a new class of superhumans capable of extraordinary feats in service to humanity. SCP-021 is an obligate parasite of the human body. Containment, therefore, is no more difficult than containing an adult human. Most cells will suffice. Item is currently housed in Detention Cell 217A on Subject D-139. Only Class D personnel are eligible for hosting SCP-021. As long as a given subject survives as a host for the organism, he is exempt from normal monthly terminations of Class D personnel. The organism appears to feed exclusively on pigments in the host's skin. This can include melanin, in which case the subject appears to be suffering from vitiligo. However, the organism shows a marked preference for other tattoos and will seek out and devour these before resorting to natural pigments. It should be noted that the feeding process itself, beyond the sensation of movement, is painless. Normal tattoo ink simply vanishes as it is eaten. The organism maintains a constant size, and no excretions have been observed. The organism is capable of clearing over 0.6 square meters of skin per hour. One may feed the entity by quickly tattooing fruits or small animals on the host. The entity can be transferred between hosts by various forms of physical contact with differing rates of success. In the case of a successful transfer, the organism simply swims from one person to the other. Sexual intercourse appears to be the most reliable method of transfer, with a 93% rate of transmission. However, due to the severe pain involved, this is less than ideal. Contact between two open wounds is generally preferable. The transfer is more complicated in deceased subjects, though not unreasonably so. The organism suffers no ill effects from the death of its host and continues to consume pigments. Transmission between species is unknown. Previous tests suggest it to be either impossible or exceedingly rare. The entity does confer some benefits to its host. The tattoo has been proven to accelerate the release and reuptake of epinephrine and decrease lactic acid buildup, providing boosts of strength, confidence, and pain tolerance in stressful situations and reducing the usual after effects of weakness and fatigue. In addition, the tattoo seems to have some beneficial effect on the host's immune system. Aggression profiles in hosts are generally higher than average, though whether this is a direct effect of the tattoo or simply a reaction to the constant pain remains to be seen. The symbiotic relationship is usually limited by how long the host can tolerate such pain in everyday life. This has culminated in suicide in several subjects. In rare cases, hosts have also fallen victim to fatal skin infections. Item number SCP-999. Entity is a gelatinous, orange creature that induces feelings of happiness and euphoria upon contact. It has been shown to cure severe depression and PTSD. Deploying Entity could potentially alleviate widespread psychological distress and improve global mental health. Entity is allowed to freely roam the facility should it desire to, but otherwise must stay in its pen, either between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. for sleeping, or during emergency lockdowns for its safety. Subject is not allowed out of its pen at night or off the facility grounds at any time. The pen is to be kept clean and food replaced twice daily. All personnel are allowed inside the entity's holding area, but only if they are not assigned to other tasks at the time, or if they are on break. The subject is to be played with when bored and spoken to in a calm, non-threatening tone. The entity appears to be a large, amorphous, gelatinous mass of translucent orange slime, weighing about 54 kilograms, with a consistency similar to that of peanut butter. The subject's size and shape are easily malleable and can change shape at will, though when at rest, entity becomes a rounded oblate dome roughly 2 meters wide and 1 meter in height. The surface of the entity consists of a thin, transparent membrane similar to that of an animal cell roughly 0.5 centimeters thick, and is highly elastic, allowing entity to flatten portions of its body up to 2 centimeters thin. This surface is also hydrophobic, although entity can willfully absorb liquids. The rest of the entity's body is filled with a viscous orange substance of unknown chemical makeup, though it is capable of digesting organic materials with ease. Subject's temperament is best described as playful and dog-like. When approached, entity will often react with overwhelming elation, slithering over to the nearest person and leaping upon them, hugging them with a pair of pseudopods while nuzzling the person's face with a third pseudopod, all the while emitting high-pitched gurgling and cooing noises. The surface of the entity emits a pleasing odor that differs with whomever it's interacting with. Recorded scents include chocolate, fresh laundry, bacon, roses, and Play-Doh. Simply touching the entity's surface causes an immediate mild euphoria, which intensifies the longer one is exposed to entity and lasts long after separation from the creature. Subject's favorite activity is tickle wrestling, often by completely enveloping a person from the neck down and tickling them until asked to stop, though it doesn't always immediately comply with this request. Though injuries may occur, entity has never been found to purposefully attempt to harm others and will immediately back away and contract its body into a quivering mound while gurgling in a manner similar to a whimpering dog, seemingly apologizing for hurting someone on accident. While the creature will interact with anyone, it seems to have a special interest in those who are unhappy or hurt in any way. Persons suffering from crippling depression or PTSD, for example, have reported having a far more positive outlook on life after multiple interactions with entity. The possibility of manufacturing antidepressants from entity slime is currently being discussed. In addition to its playful behavior, entity seems to love all animals, especially humans, refusing to eat any meat and even risking its own life to save others. On one occasion, leaping in front of a person to take a bullet fired at them. Subject's intellect is still up for debate. Though its behavior is infantile, it seems to understand human speech and most modern technology, including guns. Entity's diet consists entirely of candy and sweets, with M&Ms, TM, and Necco TM wafers being its favorites. Its eating methods are similar to those of an amoeba. Item number: SCP-500. SCP-500 appears to be a small plastic container holding 47 red pills. One pill, when taken orally, cures the subject of all diseases within 2 hours. Its potential for curing pandemics and incurable diseases makes it a prime candidate for world-saving status. SCP-500 must be stored in a cool and dry place, away from bright light. SCP-500 is only allowed to be accessed by personnel with Level 4 security clearance to prevent misapplication. The pills have been used in numerous experiments with other SCPs currently being contained by the Foundation. These are a few of those instances. 2 pills have been authorized for use with SCP-008. As a result of conducting a series of tests on Class D subjects infected with SCP-008, it appears that even in the most advanced stages of the disease, one whole pill will accomplish full recovery. Number of pills is 57 at the time of writing. 1 pill has been authorized for use with SCP-409. SCP-500 was tested on Subject 409-D5, who was exposed to the effects of SCP-409. Complete recovery accomplished. Subject 409-D5 was exposed to the effects of SCP-409 and was left to become severely crystallized. After that, he was treated with SCP-500, and a complete recovery was achieved in 9 days. The subject reported that he continued to feel pain in body parts that were crystallized even after the estimated recovery time. The pain faded 13 days after the subject was treated. It is unknown if the pain effect was psychological or real during the intervening 4 days. Item number: SCP-40. SCP-40 is a young girl with the ability to manipulate living organisms, transforming them into new species or improving their physical and mental capabilities. This ability could be harnessed to enhance human resilience or to restore endangered species. SCP-40 1A, 1C, and 1J have been approved to remain in the containment chamber with SCP-40 for purposes of the subject's mental well-being. All other entities modified by SCP-40 during testing are to be disposed of after study according to standard biological specimen clearance protocols, as outlined in Document CDP Bio-EN1. Description: SCP-40 is a human child capable of at-will manipulation of the physical characteristics of living organisms. Modified organisms are collectively referred to as SCP-40-1. Modifications are primarily cosmetic, ranging from simple color and pattern changes to more involved shifts in bodily form and structure. The creation of new specialized organs is possible, but appears to be the limit of SCP-40's ability, and currently has a 66% failure rate in testing. Modifications are limited to what would be physically possible, regardless of the probability of such a feature naturally arising. For example, while SCP-40 can grant an organism wings that do not naturally possess them, they will not permit the creature to fly without meeting other physical requirements. SCP-41 undergoes behavior shifts as part of the modification process, acting with extreme loyalty to SCP-40 regardless of prior association. SCP-40's anomalous property requires significant focus and time to enact and causes intense headaches and nausea when performed for more than a few minutes at a time. The effect becomes increasingly unreliable and inaccurate the smaller the modifications or the more complex the changes are. SCP-40 is incapable of altering microscopic organisms and has great difficulty in altering plant life. Dead organic matter may also be used, but must be used in conjunction with a living organism. Instances of SCP-41 cannot be modified more than once, though it is currently unknown if this is a hard limit of SCP-40's properties or from a lack of mastery over them. SCP-40's emotional state is within acceptable boundaries for an individual of its age group, accounting for the effects of prolonged containment and parental separation. The subject's intelligence is slightly above average for its age group. Behavior is generally cooperative. SCP-40 acclimatized quickly to containment and responded well to the initial orientation and socialization programs. SCP-40 responds to the name 40 and does not appear to have any other given or chosen personal name.